energy source. These refractors lie in ancient ruins underground and in the sea, and are sought out by explorers called diggers. These brave explorers are the sole source of refractor energy, which has become a cornerstone of the emerging civilizations. Originally, this was the diggers' only purpose, to find refractors so that civilization might endure. However, over the years, the story of a fabulous treasure, the legendary Mother Lode, began to be whispered among the diggers. The Mother Lode, a treasure so great that if it were discovered, it would provide so much power that the world never need fear running out of energy. Seeking this Mother Lode, diggers travel from one island to another in their flying machines, ever hoping.
This opening is long as fuck. I wasn't expecting this shit to be as long as it was. Anyways, let's get it on. Y'all know what the fuck we're talking about today. Alright? Mega Man Legends 1 / Mega Man, 64, okay? For the N64. Let's talk about this game for a little bit. Since my freaking fat fingers accidentally hovered over the apparently delete video button, and I lost all of my Super Meat Boy footage. So anyways, I'm back. So, Mega Man Legends, alright? I want to talk about, my history with Mega Man Legends. What is this to me? This series. What is this, right? So, I remember when I was getting into Mega Man for the very first time, and I was obsessed with the idea of playing Mega Man. I wanted to play Classic. Since I realized getting into Mega Man, there was going to be a bunch of other Mega Man franchises. There was going to be a bunch of Mega Man franchises I have to get into, or just at least try to get into and play, right? So after Classic Series, I wanted to kind of follow the timeline of Mega Man, which the timeline of Mega Man kind of goes like this, right? It starts with Classic Series, then it goes into X Series, then after the X Series it goes into the Zero Series, then after the Zero Series it goes into ZX, the ZX/ZX Advent little mini side games, it goes into that series. After that it goes into Mega Man Legends. Mega Man Legends kind of continues the Mega Man timeline, right? And I was like, okay, bet. And I obviously took my time going through each of the Mega Man games, the Classic, the X series, the freaking the Zero series. Don't really like the ZX, by the way. Really do not like ZX Advent. I really don't like those games. So I would skip over those. And then eventually I got to Mega Man Legends, right? And I remember when I got into the game, I didn't really fully process this, I think at least, that it's an early, PlayStation 1 video game. And a lot of PS1 games, are just getting used to 3D environments. For a long time, a lot of these developers, especially Capcom with Mega Man series, they didn't really bring him into the third dimension. I mean, the X series could have done that, forever ago, but they waited all the way until, X7 to really bring it into 3D and stuff. But, with that specific Mega Man series. But, on the PS1 / N64, there was a game called Mega Man Legends. And I remember, like I said, after doing all that, I wanted to try the game out and stuff, right? And I finally got around to it. And I immediately hated what I played. It was not even instant. It was instantaneous. Because I have an issue where it comes to how I control the character or control myself in a video game, right? If my control is not, pixel perfect, I don't have really good control, it feels stiff to me, or something feels off about it, I'm not gonna fucking vibe with it, because in a way, stiff controls get me killed in very unnecessary or unfair ways, which leads to me being I'm not gonna deal with something that doesn't have beautiful control, that doesn't allow me to move swiftly or whatever. And keep in mind, PlayStation / N64 have a gimmick in controls called tank controls. And basically, Mega Man Legends / Mega Man 64, okay, has like a tank control. Tank controls is where you move one part of the body and then you use another unconventional way to move the other part or something or whatever, right? And I remember when I was moving around in the intro stage and Roll was trying to tell me what the fuck to do, I was sitting there like, Mega Man, you could just move forward, like moving forward is fine, but like that turn, bro. Like I remember I moved forward, I was like, okay, I moved forward, we're in a 3D environment now, And keep in mind, right, when I'm playing like 3D video games and shit, the control needs to be even more smooth than a 2D game. Let's be fucking real, right? Because at least in a 2D game, you can only go in like two directions. You can't go like fucking, oh, I can't like have this angle or that 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 angle. All a 2D game has is this and this. And maybe like a fucking jump. That's all a 2D game has, right? But Mega Man Legends, when I played it, moving forward and turning was a bitch because I grew up with Super Mario 64. And with Super Mario 64, right, that game has phenomenal movement, sure. Like when you're running in Super Mario 64, you run and sometimes you walk off ledges, so it wasn't completely perfect, but it was a million times better feeling than playing Mega Man Legends. And I remember those controls alone, not even joking, I knew from the controls I was not going to like this shit. Now, you might be thinking, Mega Man Legends / Mega Man 64 has an amazing story with amazing characters and all that other sort of shit. Dog, I won't lie to you, bro. When you're playing a video game, right, and especially in my case, a lot of the time, I do give a fuck about stories. I really do. But in a lot of games, I really do not give a fuck about their respective stories and what the hell is going on. I just want to play a fucking good-ass game. And I bet 90% of people who played Mega Man 64 were thinking, okay, Mega Man 64, maybe it's going to be the 2D classic Mega Man game on the Nintendo 64, fuck, maybe it'll be that. But no, it was a completely different game. Now I kind of wish, like, Mega Man 64, like, did the whole Legends style, but, like, played completely differently. Like, they had their own N64 trilogy going, but, again, that cost a lot of development time to make and spend resources on, so Capcom didn't want to do that. They just wanted to kind of rip Legends and kind of put on an N64 cartridge. But yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I'm interested in the story. I remember being somewhat interested in it when I watched like a big-ass retrospective on the Legends series and all that other sort of shit. But I don't know, something about it, like, if I don't have good control, I can't really, like, enjoy the game. And yes, there are some instances in my life where I had to obviously get used to controls, and some people might tell me, well, get used to the controls and maybe they'll be good. But it's like, for me, it's like controls are a very crucial part of your game. If your controls are not good, if something's slightly off for me, and I know I am being, I'm asking a lot here, but at the same time, we have millions of games, in the world today, and I get it, it's old school PS1, and, retro controls weren't always the best, but most times when I played a retro game, controls were fine for me. But like with Mega Man Legends / Mega Man 64, for me, like, the controls are just not good. And I feel like it's even worse on an N64, aka Mega Man 64, because you have less buttons to work with on the Nintendo 64 in comparison to the PlayStation. At least with the PlayStation 1, you have triangle, square, X, circle. You have 4 buttons you can use for your action commands. You have a whole big-ass analog stick that's in a decent place. And plus, I think the game also controls your D-pad. And you have to press R1 and L1 and L1 and R1 to like move the camera a lot. And I was just like not fucking with it, man. And that's why I say this experience is very brief, because I couldn't make it past like the intro stage or the tutorial because them controls really threw me off, man. I'm talking about like threw me off so bad I didn't even want nothing to do with it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I waited so long to review this game, because there isn't just that much for me to talk about other than, like, yeah, my issues, because that's all I had with this game was just pure issues. And plus, like I mentioned before, my Super Meat Boy stream got deleted, so I'm never just going to touch the game again, because YouTube issues. I fucking accidentally deleted the stream, even though all I wanted was a thumbnail, and I guess YouTube said, oh, you can delete the stream, and one thing led to another, and that's it. But that's my thoughts on Mega Man Legends. I know it isn't much, but like low key, that's how much it bothered me when I went in and did all this shit, bro. Like the controls are just so bad. And maybe not for you guys. If you guys can handle like games with like a little bit more tanky controls, like PS1 jank, if you ever played like Resident Evil where that movement in that game I think is pretty janky, then you should be able to deal with Mega Man 64 slash Mega Man Legends is like tank controls. But keep in mind when you go into this game has some serious tank control, and if you like your controls as much as I do in terms of it being smooth and butter smooth and crisp, then you are probably not going to enjoy this game. But I won't lie, the story and the characters like Miss Trombone and Roll and Mega Man and the other characters like Trombone's like brothers and shit, like all the characters in the game are awesome and they are enjoyable to like listen to and watch, if you're watching the cutscenes of the game and whatever the fuck. But anyways, I'm going to probably do another small review since it just makes sense for me to do them right now. Bye!